Then comes the concept of setting, variable, manufacturing overhead. For setting manufacturing variable manufacturing overhead cost, we will be given two types of rates. One is standard hours rate, we can say standard manufacturing overhead hours rate, and standard manufacturing overhead price per unit. By multiplying these two types of rates, we will be able to get variable manufacturing overhead rate. To modify this, we will use the word of direct labor hour per unit for standard manufacturing overhead hour rate, and for standard manufacturing overhead price per unit rate we will use direct labor hour. Both meaning are same. Whatever you want to use, you can use. As we discussed about the standards or standard quantity, standard rates, so there are some deviations, variances can occur in these type of calculations. Like there is a price variation, that can we can say price variance, and there will be a quantity variance. So these two type of variances or deviations can change our standard cost. So what is price variance? Price variance can be defined as the difference between the actual price of an input and its standard price. We will take the difference between actual price and standard price, and we will multiply with the actual amount of input purchased. So how we will find out the price variance? To find out the price variance, we will take the difference of actual price and standard price, and we will multiply this difference with actual quantity or actual with the actual quantity. For quantity variance, we will only take the difference between actual quantity and standard quantity utilized to produce or manufacture our product. So quantity variance can be calculated by taking the difference of actual quantity and standard quantity, and price variance can be calculated by taking the difference of actual price and standard price. After taking the difference, we will multiply this with actual quantity. We will get the exact amount or exact price of variation that occur. To explain the concept of price variance, if we say that the quantity purchased is 6500 pound 6500 units, its actual price is 3.80, its standard price that we set was 4 rupees, so difference is 0.20, and if we will multiply this 0.20 with 6500, so total price variance will be 1300. It is a favorable impact of price variance, because in our standard the price should be 4, but with the actual price in market we got 0.20 benefit, and this 0.20 benefit will be multiplied with the 6500 units. Our saving is 1300 rupees, so it will be a favorable condition in price variance. And vice versa, if the prices are high, actual price is more than standard price, then it will become unfavorable condition. So there are some questions that how the isolation of variance will be deal. If the condition is unfavorable, then it will be quickly brought to the attention of management, so they can resolve the problem, or they can find out there any other supplier or attribute or substitute of the raw material purchased. In the same way, what will be the responsibility of variance of whom? Who will be responsible? The purchasing manager will be responsible for the variance, as he control the price paid for goods, and therefore he is responsible for the materials price variance. So it should be noted that purchasing manager is responsible for price variance, and isolation or variance can be done by quickly reporting the problem to the purchasing manager. To explain the concept of quantity price, we will use, or we will multiply this quantity difference with the standard price to find out the quantity variance. In the same way, we will make a chart. The standard price is 4 rupees. The actual quantity to produce a product is 6500 pounds, and standard quantity that was allowed was 6000. So the difference of quantity is 500, and if we multiply this 500 with the standard price, we will get 2000 rupees. So we will get 2000 rupees, that is unfavorable, because the company have to pay 2000 rupees extra, as their standard quantity was 6000, and actually the quantity goes beyond the standard quantity. Because of what? 2000 rupees expense exists, and it is unfavorable for the organization. Now we will discuss about direct labor variances. To explain direct labor variances, it should be in our mind that labor is of two types. One is skilled labor and other is unskilled labor, and we can judge their skills on the base of their experience, efforts, and their knowledge. As you all know that what are the skills, what are the measures to check the labor. First of all, the variance that can occur in direct labor condition, that is labor rate variance. The labor rate variance can be calculated by actual hours multiply by actual rate minus actual hours multiply by standard rate. It is the formula to calculate the labor rate variance. Like if we resolve this equation, it will become actual R and actual rate minus standard rate. By using the algebra equation, we derive new equation actual R into actual rate minus standard rate. To explain the labor rate variance, let's assume that actual hours are 5400 hours, the actual rate is 13.75 and the standard rate is 14. By viewing this, we are clear that 0.25 cost is more in standard rate, but in actual the cost that is incurred is 13.75, so we got the benefit of 0.25. It means 5400 multiplied by 0.25 benefit, we will get 1350 rupees favorable benefit from labor rate variance. This is the first part. The second part of direct labor variance is labor efficiency variance. Labor efficiency variance can be calculated by actual hour multiplied by standard rate minus standard hours multiplied by standard rate. By using algebra, if we conclude this equation, standard rate is equal to into actual hour minus standard hours, and labor efficiency variance can be calculated by if we see our standard rate is 14 rupees and actual hours are 5400 to produce a product, and 5000 hours we set as standard, so it means in actually 400 more hours are utilized to produce a product. I am repeating, labor efficiency variance can be calculated by multiplying actual hour with the standard rate. We will take their difference with standard hour multiplied by standard rate. By using the algebra equation, our equation will become standard rate into actual hour minus standard hour. So if our standard rate is 14 rupees, our actual hours to produce a product are 5400, but as standard we said that 5000 hours are enough to produce a product, so by taking their difference we got unfavorable condition. It means 5600 rupees is the labor efficiency variance amount that is more than our standard set, so it is unfavorable. We need to set those standards that should be up to the mark. For example, if this value becomes 0, or we got, if we increase our efficiency, our hours reduced to 5000 up to 4800. In actual, if by improving the efficiency our actual hours can go to 4800, because of if it happen, then we will get a positive response and it will be a favorable condition for us. After explaining the labor efficiency variance, we are going to discuss manufacturing overhead variances. In this also two concepts come. The first one is variable overhead rate variance, that is equal to actual hour into actual rate minus standard rate. This is our first part to calculate the manufacturing overhead variance. Like if we say our actual hours are 5400, our actual rate is 2.85, and our standard rate that we set was 3 rupees. If we focus on this, we got the benefit of 0.15 rupees. So overall we got 810 rupees benefit. It is favorable condition because our standard rate was up and our actual rate is low, so we got the benefit of 0.15. The second method to evaluate the manufacturing overhead variance is variable overhead efficiency variance. That is equal to standard rate into actual hours minus standard hours. Let's assume that our standard rate is 3 rupees and our actual hours are 5400 hours to produce product. In the same way, we set the standard hours as 5000. So what will happen, that our hours increase because in actual there are 400 more hours to produce a product as compared to it in standard hours. Our standard was 5000. What will happen, we got 400 more hours work to do and 1200 unfavorable cost incurred. How this can be, actual hours step can be improved if we got less input, by implementing less input we got maximum output. This shows that our labor is not that much skillful. There is the deficiency of skills, or there is also a deficiency of calculation, because of what 1200 rupees unfavorable amount incurred that company have to bear. So these variance analysis can be dealt by management by exception. They will do the corrective actions, they will improve their calculations, or they will set their standard cost, or they can reschedule their standard cost. They can hire more skillful workers so that they can do a more efficient work, and they need to substitute their direct material because the material cost is not up to the mark. Because of that, they have to face unfavorable conditions. Now then comes the concept of advantages of standard cost. Advantages of standard cost. The first benefit is that standard cost is the key element in a management by exception approach, because in this the management can take corrective actions. The second benefit or advantage of standard cost is that standard can be viewed as reasonable by employees, can promote economy and efficiency, because by setting the standards it will motivate employees to promote economy and efficiency. The third benefit is that standard cost can greatly simplify bookkeeping. Instead of recording actual cost for each job, there will be a benchmark, there will be a proper set of calculations that standard costs are used for bookkeeping, but recording actual cost will help us to deal with the variances. because standard cost was set as benchmark to do the corrective actions. In the same way, there are problems in standard costs. The problems in standard costs are standard cost variances reports are usually prepared on monthly basis and often are released days or even weeks after the end of the month. So it will affect our information, our time, because the time of corrective action will go if reports are made late. The second problem is this: it will be difficult for managers to do corrective actions if the reports are made on monthly basis, not on daily basis. The drawback is this: labor quantity standard and efficiency variance need assumptions. First, that the labor should be a paceful person, that they do production process continuously and up to the standards. And the second assumption is that the labor need to be work on the base of with the speed of machine. Like, if the machine is running and labor is not working well or not doing work with the speed of machine, it will also affect standard cost. Then comes the concept of operating performance measures. In operating performance measures, the two terms are involved. The first one is delivery cycle time, and second one is throughput time. We can say it manufacturing cycle. So delivery cycle time can be defined as amount of time from when a customer order is received to when the order is shipped is called delivery cycle time. We can say amount of time. So delivery cycle time can be defined as the amount of time when a customer place order and to time of customer order shipment. It will be called our delivery cycle time. For example, in one day the customer place order and the second day the order is shipped to the customer, so total delivery cycle time is 2 days. In the same way, what is the throughput time? Throughput time can be defined as the amount of time required to turn raw material into completed product. Time to convert raw material to completed product is called throughput time. there is a formula for throughput time is throughput time is equal to process time plus inspection time plus move time plus queue time. By adding all these times, we will get our throughput time. It means it is the process time in which the raw material is joined together. Inspection was done about the product manufacturing quality. Move time is to move the product from warehouse to the franchise, and queue time is the customer receiving time, the duration in which the customer receives the final product. So throughput time is the combination of 1, 2, 3, 4 types of times. The last concept of this chapter is manufacturing cycle efficiency. Manufacturing cycle efficiency is equal to value added time divided by throughput time. As you all know the throughput time formula, what is the value added time? We can define the value added time as, so value added time is process time, because in this time the raw material is converted into final product. As you all know, our product is complete, then its inspection is done, then it is moved, then it's delivered to customers. So the first most time is our value added time in which the raw material is converted into final product. So this was all about today's lecture, and I hope you all will make notes of this lecture. Inshallah we will meet in our next lecture. Thank you.